Hey everyone, welcome to the March Equinox pick a card reading. And of course, in the northern hemisphere, it's going to be the spring equinox. In the southern hemisphere, it'll be the fall equinox. And also March 20th, which is when that equinox happens, is going to be the astrological new year. We've gone through all of the zodiac signs. We're leaving Pisces and starting over back in Aries. So happy Aries season as well. I'll have another special video for that. That will also be coming out, of course. Now the equinox, the solstices, we are either kind of pointing away from the sun or pointing toward the sun. And that's where we have winter and, of course, summer in the different hemispheres. But now we are kind of more where the sun is on the equator, which is going to be represented with this beautiful balancing that is coming in, this equalizing, where days and nights are equal-ish compared to winter and summer, of course. So the sun can seem like it's right above the equator during that time. And again, it's this balancing where we're not tilted in one direction or the other. So this reading is going to be about, springtime is about birthing, fall time or autumn is about harvesting, things are coming to fruition. And so you're going to have a choice of 3 different pick-a-cards. The first one is going to be the caterpillar being born or the butterfly coming to fruition. Number 2 is going to be the little seedling that does grow up into a fruit tree. And then we've got like the baby or the calf or the fawn that turns and grows into the adult, into the stag. So you have choices of 1, 2, or 3. I'm going to start with number 1. All the others have the timestamp in the description box below. So if you want to jump to one of those other ones, you can do that. Otherwise, we're going to start with number 1. All right, on my Aries, if you chose reading number 1, which is the caterpillar to the butterfly, then this is your reading. And we're going to start off by pulling a card here from the Into the Lonely Woods. And we're just going to see what is one half of the balancing equation here for this equinox period for you. So let's give these a shuffle and we'll see what we're going to start off with here. Time. All right, see if I don't destroy my little mat here. All right, and so for our Aries, that chose the caterpillar to the butterfly. Okay, it's going to be it right here. And you have this beautiful little card here. And it says it's number 10, the communion of tender souls. So we're going to put this on this half of the balancing act. Actually, we'll put it right here. And let's see what that says. Of course, 10s are all about endings and beginnings. But it says, true communion comes in the moments where 2 who once felt strangers connect over the simple delight of warmth that springs up between them. Springtime, right? Our souls, for all they grow in solitude, crave those moments of connection. And here you have this moment. This kinship runs deep. It's created through what is shared but unspoken, what's understood without explanation, what is seen without being exposed. The tender part of each of you has found a safe place, each within the other. Nurture and tend this, gently and with respect, and allow both of you your freedom. In time, let us see what will be woven between 2 souls. For now, rest in the bliss of this communion. So this is this 2 becoming 1 type of energy that's coming in here. So this has to do with your relationships, and I kind of feel like it's a duality of both the physical world, the people that you're interacting with, but also the 2 of you that are living this human existence, your human side and your higher spiritual side too. We're also going to pull a card here from the Earth Magic and just see what the other side of this is. This is obviously relationships to yourself and to others is kind of the one side of it here. Let's see if we can get the cards here to actually want to shuffle. There we go. All right, so for our Aries, what's the other side of the equation here? Okay. Yeah. I had a feeling that the other side was going to be where you feel like an island in solitude, communion and solitude. So the balancing of the two here, that's hilarious. Let me just look at this one really quick here, and I won't read the entire thing. I'm just going to see what energy comes with this. Yeah, and it has a little solitary tree on this island surrounded by the glassy sea can evoke different feelings depending on one's perception and beliefs. The tree, which is in full blossom, stands out amid the relative starkness and is illuminated by a beam of light that's emerging from the otherwise dark sky. It's an elegant reminder of how even in what we might appear to be relatively barren circumstances, there's still beauty and growth. Although an island like this can be a metaphor for isolation and desolation, the thriving tree proves that even in the harshest of environments, there is capital L life. We can see the tree's spider-like roots spreading out along the rocks, seeking nourishment from the moist soil. The sense of peace and solitude depicted in this image provides nourishment for the soul. And I just wanted to show you that more here now that you have the explanation. Sorry, these are a little glazy, so there's some reflection on there, but at least you can see that a little closer. So yeah, definitely message is pretty clear between these two, right? Just that there are moments where you feel like, well, you crave solitude, right? But there's also kind of the dual thinking when you feel like you're in solitude. There's a difference between being alone and being lonely, and same with the communion and with others as well, because you could be in a crowded room and still feel alone, or you can be with one individual and feel like your whole world is just overflowing because of the beautiful energies that you're sharing with one another. And we're going to first of all pull from the Black Tarot, and the Black Tarot is going to represent your shadow side. It's the unconscious. It's all those programs that are running behind the scenes, the things that you may not be aware of, that you're not conscious of, that are running underneath regarding this balancing of this situation. So let's see what more your shadow wants you to know about here. One more time. All right, so for our Aries that chose the butterfly and caterpillar. Okay, you've got to that one there. What else? Okay, they do want those 4, so we will do that. And we will start with this one over here, which you have the Wheel of Fortune, which is card number 10. Card number 10. So the endings and new beginnings, the changing of things, seems to be kind of this unconscious fear that you have going on inside of you. Like you're worried about what things mean, and also these beautiful, beautiful feelings, the feels that you're getting regarding that. So it's beautiful, though the story of the Wheel of Fortune is that before you came down here, your higher self, your soul, did choose, you know, when it was going to arrive and when it's going to leave. It chose the human character that's going to represent it, like the avatar in the game or the character in this movie, and also all the fated events that it wanted to experience throughout this lifetime. And it's a beautiful awareness that comes with this, in that you know that you're not like on this out of control drama train like the world might seem like it is, right? It's like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? It feels like there's no rhyme and reason sometimes, and you're like, why in the heck is that happening? But every single event and circumstance that comes into our life is a circumstance and event that our higher self wanted to experience in this lifetime. By experiencing our shadow and our uncomfortable emotions, we more fully understand our higher self and who we are. And so we go from feeling like we're on this out of control drama train that's about to jump the tracks and blow up somewhere, and see it more as like a monorail, a train that's connected to the track where it can't fly off, and it moves very smoothly, stopping on all its stops, and it's specific timing. The other thing that it brings to us, this wisdom, is that we still have our free will, we still have our power of choice. No matter what circumstance happens, we still, while we're here, get to choose what story we apply to that situation. We also get to choose what emotion we feel in that situation. And so there is this, like I said, you move from this out of control feeling to this more secure feeling, knowing that whatever happens, it doesn't matter, because I get to choose what it means. I get to choose what I feel. And I know sometimes it doesn't feel like we're choosing at all, because we were conditioned so much when we were younger about, when this thing happens, this is what it means. When this thing happens, this is how, I'm supposed to feel. And so when those things happen, because they were reinforced and, repetition over time, instead of it feeling like a choice, it became our habit, it became our reaction. So we can still pause and take a deep breath and in any situation and rechange the story that we're applying to it, change the emotion that we want to feel through it. So it's a very empowering card, and it is this change and this movement, this ending of the ways of looking at these situations. And so the kind of at the root of the feeling out of balance, it's almost like, I want to be alone, I want solitude, but I want to be with someone. And then you're with someone, and then, whether it's romantic, family, friends, work, whatever, and you're like, I just want to be alone. When you're alone, I want to be with someone. And so there's this supposed to that's kind of happening and going back and forth. And that is what's kind of driving you to this solitude. Because when you're truly at peace with being by yourself and not longing for something else, you do feel this wholeness and this completeness, and you're actually even kind of hunger for your solitude. But let's see what else your subconscious shadow wants you to know too. Yeah, you've got the Ace of Spheres, and the Ace of Spheres is like the Ace of Pentacles in the regular standard tarot, and this represents your outside world, and it does represent, you've got 10, which is endings and new beginnings, and you've got Ace of Pentacles, which is new beginnings. And it's like this, it's making sense now. You're fearing that something changes in your solitude. You're fearing that something changes in your relationships with yourself and with others. And the knowing that you get to choose what anything means that you fear you fear the future less, because when you feel like you're at the whim of, when whatever comes, this is how I'm supposed to, feel, and how I'm supposed to, put that story around it, then you feel like your life is out of control and you're just like a puppet on strings. Well, whatever comes is how I'm going to have to react. But when you have this power, when you get this, it's just this self-awareness and this, like I said, it's an empowerment, knowing that no matter what comes, I am the one that gets to choose what anything means. I get to choose how I'm going to feel. It doesn't matter what comes, because you could always choose, if you wanted to, the rest of your life, to choose one certain way, and that it means one certain thing. No matter what comes, this is how I'm going to feel. No matter what comes, this is what it's going to mean. Like an example, no matter what comes in my life, it means that I'm amazing. And no matter what comes in my life, I'm going to choose the feeling of joy and laughter. And so you can laugh at anything that comes, and you can always have this belief that everything means that you're amazing, right? and you could. That's kind of boring. I mean, it's not why we come here to experience one emotion normally our entire lives. We come here to experience the myriad of emotions, all the way to the uncomfortable emotions of fear, to the amazing emotions of, unconditional love and joy and peace and laughter too. So, but this is just letting you know that no matter what's happening, you always have a choice, and that opens up new opportunities for you too, allows you to look at life a bit differently. And then you also have the King of Swords. Swords are your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindsets, your attitudes, your expectations. So all that conditioning that I was talking about, all those ways of that things have to be a certain way, and all the roles, all those conditional roles of everything. This king is perfect for what we're talking about, because he wields the Ace of Swords here. And this king brings in the wisdom of thought and belief, and knows that, he basically understands this whole Wheel of Fortune, that my beliefs are what I choose them to be. I'm the one that controls all that. I don't see the world as it is. I see the world as I am, what I'm believing on the inside, and that just colors in the world according to our beliefs. And the king, knowing this and having been through all of the other, experiences of the sword suit, because he's at the very end, he's been through it all and he gets it. He knows that this Ace of Swords that he wields does two things. One, it connects him to these higher truths that are so much higher above all of those beliefs of our ego and fear, all those supposed to be's and should and need to's. And so he finds those capital T truths of the spiritual realm, of the higher place, a lot of times in solitude when they're away from all the noise. But also the Ace of Swords allows him to slice away, cut away those small T truths that have been restricting, that have been the source of his anxiety. So I love that for you. And then lastly, you've got the Star card, which the King of Swords is, air, which that could kind of represent Aquarian energy, or Libra and Gemini, but the Star card is very Aquarian, which this is the source of hope. This is about understanding the star that you are, and that you connect to that higher realm. You connect to that universal space out there. You're so much more than this little human on this planet. You're a bright, shining star full of all that beautiful, unconditional love and joy and laughter and peace. That's your true nature. That's truly your higher self. So I love that this drive, it's telling you that also that the out of balancing that you have here is because of these outside expectations and everything that you have that always end up disappointing you and pointing you back to your inside, back to your solitude. So as you are spending time in meditation, in prayer, in self-reflection, when you get drawn out into the dealing with other people, people are mirrors for us, and they'll always be continually pointing us back to ourselves anyway, to show us what we want to see about ourselves until we see it. So there is this returning back so that you can understand who you truly are. We're also going to pull a card, or not a card, but some cards here from the Naked Heart Tarot. And this just represents the conscious stuff. This is what your shadow wanted you to know. This is what the Creator and all your posse of spiritual support on the other side wants you to know. All right, so for our Aries, that shows the caterpillar to the butterfly. Okay. Yeah, and that makes sense too with the caterpillar to the butterfly, because the caterpillar goes through its human experience, and then it goes into the cocoon, into solitude, and then it emerges a butterfly, right? So it's like there is some time that is needed to actually spend some time alone. It doesn't mean you have to become a hermit or anything like that, but there is this emphasis to spend some time alone to really understand who you are. So your first message here is the Four of Swords, so more of this swords energy here. And the Four of Swords represents like peace of mind. It's this calmness that comes, because these three swords up here, the Three of Swords is called the expectations card, or that's what I call it anyway. Usually you'll see like a heart with three swords, stuck in it. And it represents the disappointment that I was talking about, how when you look to relationships or you look to situations like jobs and education, or you look to things like your possessions, your bank account, your body to fulfill you, those expectations end up disappointing you because people change or pass away, situations never stay the same, and things break down, deteriorate, or are stolen. So those things are not eternal, they're temporary and unstable. So that's why they disappoint you. But I love this because, this little, is that a panther? Yeah, or a black cat. So it has a black cat here. And this here is the Ace of Swords, the one the king was wielding here. And that allows you to understand and, again, connect to the capital T truths and understand, you understanding during this Four of Swords that those small t truths are unstable, and you rest in the knowledge of the capital T truths. Because the number fours are very solid. It's like a table with four very strong legs on it. It's a very strong foundation. And so you have this during this whole, equinox period, the, spring, fall equinox, depending on where you're at, during, March, April, May, around that period of time, this is the clarification, the clarity that comes to your consciousness here. And then you have the Movement of Cups, which should be the Knight of Cups. Cups are your emotions, and this would be like the Knight in the Standard Tarot, and it wields this goblet, this Ace of Cups. And so what's inside that Ace of Cups, because the Ace of Cups is like the chalice or the Holy Grail, it's the living waters of the unconditional love of the Creator. It's that energy, it's that essence. And that is what fulfills us. The Three of Cups can represent like the spilling of our emotions, that dissatisfaction that we have. It's more like the Five of Cups, if you've ever seen it, where there's three cups spilt over and two cups behind it. Those three spilt cups are like those Three of Swords, where they're just the disappointment that comes from it. But this Ace of Cups is what does make you feel whole and complete. So finding that solitude, connecting to this being of unconditional love and light that you are, that's what brings this calmness and this peace of mind. And this Movement of Cups is about putting that unconditional love into action, not just having it be a belief and go, oh, okay, I know what that is. It's actually grasping it, putting it into practice, giving it to yourself, filling up and overflowing. So it's putting this love and unconditional love into action in your life as well. Yeah, because then you have the Lovers here. I love how it has a little heart in between them up there. And this is about emotional choices too. And what's great about it is that it means that you're ready again for this emotional choice, and that you have these things that are coming up in your life. And of course, you've got all this connection with other beautiful souls that are reflecting it back to you. One of the wonderful things, I can say wonderful now, but when I was going through I had like 5 longish term relationships over like 10 years or so, and they were always my greatest teachers, because I realized looking back that they were always showing me what I wanted to see about myself until I saw it, that whole mirror reflection. But the biggest thing is I realized that I could not accept love from anyone else, only to the extent that I loved myself. So if I loved myself like this much, this is as much love as I would let into my heart. Also, that's, as much love as I could love others as well. So my self-love is what was determining my relationship experiences, and they were showing that back to me, and they showed that, and when I realized it, it was like, I stopped calling those teachers into my life because I had learned what I wanted to learn from them. And so then we invite new teachers to learn new subjects, right? But this is this choosing, this coming together here, understanding these mirrors, understanding that it's a reflection of the love that you have for yourself. And so over this next 3 months, you will be looking at that and understanding that and kind of revisiting it too, because I feel like you aren't going to abandon all of your relationships. That's the balance that comes in. It's about making sure you're taking your alone time to understand that, what am I running from? Why do I don't want to spend time by myself? Why I don't feel I'm lovable? It's like this understanding and this cutting away of these truths and beliefs and finding out where they came from, so you can cut them away and truly find the love that you deserve. And then lastly, for you, I'm going to pull at least one card here from these divine direction cards and just see what the final message the Creator has for all you Aries that chose the caterpillar butterfly reading. Okay, anything else? Okay, and last pass. Okay, no, that's it. So you have 2. And the first one is affirm. Sorry for the glare there. And that says, create your own affirmations. Think of words or phrases that inspire you and write them down. And I really feel like what they are wanting to is the affirmations that talk about your lovability, that talk about how you deserve the unconditional love of the Creator of all things, of all your guardian angels and your spirit guides and your loved ones who've gone to the other side, and your ancestors, whatever other beings of unconditional love and light, really having these affirmations about focusing on how you're lovable, not focusing on the judgments that you have of your 3 of swords, of all those supposed to be's and should be's and need to be's, and being harsh on yourself. It's time to focus your energy on loving you. Yeah, and here you go, friends. So you have your friends. It says, spend more time with your friends. Share your thoughts with someone who understands you. So that is beautiful too, because with them being your mirror, you are able to talk to yourself in your mirror. That's funny. But, you do find people that you can trust, if it's even just one friend that, will understand, and just talk about these things. Because when you have things that are in the shadow and the unconscious, if we don't look at them and talk about them, they stay hidden. They seem so much bigger than they really are. Because when it's really dark out and you're like, oh my gosh, you just see a bunch of shadow and you think this thing is like miles big, and then you turn on the light and it's a little bitty. And so things seem much more large when we keep it in the darkness than when we start talking about it. And I find a lot of times when I start talking about insecurities and stuff, it's like, I'm just afraid that if it's like worth, as far as a job or a relationship or something like that, I don't think I'm going to, have that relationship or have that job, and I'm not going to have enough money, and people are going to ostracize me because I'm failing, and then they're going to throw me out of town, and I'm going to end up starving alone and dying in the forest. And you're like, somewhere along the line when you're talking about your fears and getting to the roots, you're like, well, wait a minute, that sounds a bit silly. Would I ever really die in the woods alone, starving, because every single one of my family and friends and people on the planet didn't want to help me and rejected me? The chances of that are very, very, very slim, right? So it's talking about that and bringing that forward for you. So I love this message for you, all you Aries caterpillar butterflies. I do want to let you know that in addition to these readings, I also do monthly readings for each zodiac sign, weekly energy updates for each of the elements like fire signs, water signs, etc., new moon, full moon, and a variety of other readings. So if you don't want to miss out on any of those and get notified immediately when they become available, if you give this video a little thumbs up and click the like button. Also, if you click the subscribe button, that's going to make this notification bell come up and give you access to it. When you click into there, you can select all, and then you'll be notified of when any new videos come out. Also, doing any of that does help spread the love, because when you like a video or share a video or comment on a video or even subscribe to the channel, that just makes the YouTube algorithm so happy and gleeful that it wants to share the videos with other people as well. So if you want to do any of that, of course, I am so grateful. Also, these are general readings. If you want even more specific information for your life, I do offer personal readings, and all that information is also in the description box below. All of you Aries, all you caterpillar to butterfly Aries, just want to let you know that as you're going throughout each and every second of every day of your life, that you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things. And of course, I love you too. Have an amazing little equinox season. I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon, though. So in the meantime, you take care. All right, all my Aries, if you chose reading number 2, which is the seedling to the fruitful tree, then this is the reading for you. And we're going to start off by pulling a card from the Into the Lonely Woods deck and just see what is one half of the balancing act that they want to talk to you about. All right, so for our Aries that chose reading number 2, okay, that's your card there. And you have the In the Vastness of It All. Beautiful card there, card number 38. So put that over here and let's just see what message comes there. And it is kind of like the unknown, like this, not so much the fear of the unknown, but kind of the fear of the unknown, the excitement of the unknown, the unknowingness, if you could say that. And it says, there will be times when being alone can make us feel so very small and full of doubt. Questions pour through our being. Do we matter? Do others care? Why do I feel so lost? And the vastness of the silence that greets these questions may seem to confirm our insignificance. But in time, you will feel a part of it all, and your form, your shape, your being will fit within the greater design of the world. You are significant, for you are a child of this planet, and you belong here. They want me to reemphasize that. You belong here. You have a right to be here, in other words. See the small one before you, the tiny flower, the bird, the wing of the dragonfly. You are not so small, for they see you as great as a mountain. So I love that message here. So that's one half of your message. And then for the other one, we're going to look at these earth magic cards and just see what the other side of the scale is here. What are you looking at balancing over these next 3 months during this equinox? What's working itself out? All right. There we go. So for our Aries that chose... Whoa! Pachang, you actually get 2. They ricocheted out of there. Yeah, so you've got the rainbow blessings. It's a beautiful card here. And I kind of feel like, and we'll read from the little book here just briefly too, but like this is that, like I said, that, feeling that vastness, feeling that emptiness, feeling that loneliness, feeling it's almost like hopeless. The rainbow, is a symbol, a promise of hope, a promise of beautiful things. And of course, that the whole song of Over the Rainbow is, all about why can't I have that? Why can't I? And it's like, you can. Yeah, because here's the music, the harmony. So, yes, sing the Over the Rainbow song. I think it's going to do something inside of you. It's going to allow you to cry. It's going to allow you to release some emotion. So, go to YouTube and just search Over the Rainbow and choose whatever artist you want to sing along with and sing the Over the Rainbow song. I really feel that helps you. But let's look at here and see what the rainbow says here. Yeah, a rainbow is created by the collaboration of sunlight and water in the atmosphere. The water droplets become tiny prisms that collectively diffuse and disperse light into a ribbon of colors that is the essence of every hue we're capable of perceiving on this planet. Rainbows symbolize many things, including good luck, a bridge to heaven, and abundance. It's difficult for any of us to ignore the majesty of a rainbow and the gentle power inherent in its display. It's such a simple blending of the elements coming together in perfect visual harmony. So you got this harmony going on here to create one of the most beautiful sights in all of creation. Although there are diverse meanings attributed to the sight of a rainbow, a common thread is that it offers blessings. And the artist of this image created this rainbow to commemorate a friend who had just died. She worked on it whenever she felt her love and appreciation for her friend, the blessings he brought to the world and to her life, often after a spell of tearful grief. So, like what I was just talking about, it really is important here, because this harmony that's coming in, this flowing with nature, flowing with your life, is part of this. Grieving when you need to grieve. And I really feel, like I said, that song when you sing, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, it is kind of like this, I wish. You've seen stuff on the horizon, you see the vastness of everything, and you're like, all those things are being able to do stuff, and people are able to do things. Why can't I, right? But there's something within it that brings this empowerment to, especially if you haven't watched The Wizard of Oz lately, I would watch that, because there is this message that you've always had everything that you've needed within you. That's kind of the whole message of the story. Their search for, the courage and the brain and, everything that they were searching for was all inside, including her home. She wanted to go home, but her home was always in her heart, was inside of her. And this music and this harmony also has this, one, singing that rainbow song, but also surrounding your ears and what are you consuming? When you're focusing on, I kind of feel like they're saying, like, if you listen to a bunch of country songs where it's like, I lost this, and this is, I miss them, and they're gone, and it's all focusing on what's missing out of your life. Someone once told me, they're like, what do you get when you play a country song backwards? You get your dog back, you get your spouse back, you get your house back, because it's all the reverse. And I kind of feel like that's what they're telling you here, is surround yourself and focus on the things that you do want in your life, the blessings that you do have in your life. Focus on the gratitude piece. So I love that message. Now we're going to also pull cards from the Black Tarot, and these are going to represent messages from your shadow. from your unconscious. Your shadow is like your tour guide on this life, and the subconscious are all those kind of programs that are running behind the scenes. They're still impacting us. We're just not aware of it in our consciousness. And so this is some truth, some awareness that they're going to bring you around this situation here. So for our Aries, that shows card reading number 2. Get that one. That one. Just make some space here because you actually get 5. So we'll do these 4, and then that 5th one we'll put on top there. All right. So your first card from your shadow is the 3 of Wands. And Wands is like your drive, your ambition, your aha, inspiration, your passion. It can be your spiritual energy too. But I really feel like this is where you're guiding your energy, because the 3s are like creativity. It is about like changing direction, because the Ace of Wands is like a new passion, 2 of Wands is like making all your plans, and the 3 of Wands is kind of like, I want to go about this in a different way. And so there is this, working out of things in your subconscious here, looking at the things that you want in your life and why, and where you're directing your energy here, and you want to direct it in a different way. You want to change the direction of where you are investing your energy. And then you also have the 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands, 10s is endings and new beginnings, so you are ready to invest your energy in a different direction. It's very much a burdensome type of energy where you're just like, I'm just exhausted from investing everything where I've invested it before. And so there is this sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of feeling this way. I want to feel this way. And so you are going through this balance of understanding that we go through this on purpose for a purpose, and there's not a wrong choice, there's not a wrong emotion to feel, because everything that we experience here is for us and for our understanding of who we really are. But there is this, your subconscious underneath is going, I'm so ready. And so it's kind of initiating change in your life, and you're like, wait a minute, why am I losing my passion for this relationship or for this job or this educational pursuit, or losing, your interest in your home, your car, some sort of possessions. Money doesn't mean like what it meant to you. Like you used to I'll work like a dog because I want that money. And now you're like, I don't care. I'm going to work my hours this week. I got plenty of money in the bank, or I don't need all that stuff. And doesn't mean as much to you or your body too. Like, why? I don't need to look like, Hercules or a supermodel or whatever, this idea of what your body should look like. It's like you're tired of investing in all that supposed to be and should be and need to be, and you're ready to redirect that. Because you have the 8 of Wands. So you definitely have this energy change that's happening. And this is great because this is about quick movement. Your energy is quickly moving over these 3 months in a different direction, and you're ready to send it in a different way. There's also a side message to this, because this also represents messages from Spirit, because this is a Spirit card and this represents messages. This means that as you get into this calmness and you get into this place of really refocusing your energy, when we're in chaos and we're focusing on all the fearful things in our life, then we're in chaos, we're in that noise, it's very loud, and we can't hear messages from Spirit, because the frequency at which Spirit speaks is of unconditional love and joy and peace and laughter and gratitude. And so when you're in that place and you've changed your energy on purpose and raised your frequency, then you can hear more clearly from the other side as well. So that's kind of like, I think, a big piece of why they're wanting to do this, because this is the year of you times 2, getting to know your higher self and your spiritual self in such a different way. Yeah. Because the Hanged Man, you can see him kind of hanging. Usually they're hanging by their foot here from a tree. This is a kind of a unique twist on this, but it is, the Hanged Man is one about movement, like you've been kind of stagnant and hanging in a direction, and it's like you're ready to move beyond that. And it also is about seeing things from a higher perspective, a different perspective. And so there is this change in this movement of how you're looking at things, because your world around you, we don't see the world as it really is. We just see the world as we are inside. And so when we change how we're looking at the world, then our entire world changes around us too. Yeah. And here you have the 5 of Swords. And 5s are about changing of perceptions. And swords are your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindsets, etc. And so you really have this understanding that comes from this, because it basically is this message that you don't have to try to get everyone to believe what you want them to believe. And you don't have to have this life's mission to have everyone get on board with accepting how you perceive and look at the world. Because there's this journey that happens over this next 3 months for you, that there are things like you might be very good at proving your small t truth is more truer than someone else's small t truth. And by small t truths, I mean that conditioned knowledge and that conditioned expectations of the outside world, all those supposed to be's and should be's and need be's and have to be's and blah, 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 that the world said that this is how it's supposed to be. And you are very good at kind of poking holes in other people's small t truths and saying mine is more truer. And then you win the battle, but you lose the war, because those friendships, you're left alone. You're left feeling abandoned and like you don't belong anywhere. But as you connect to this higher place, this higher perspective, you start to see the capital T truths that don't need defending. You don't have to spread it to everyone. You live it, and by living it, you basically expand this unconditional love that exists within you, and it just sparks other people, sparks that love in others. You don't even have to go door to door to try to tell everyone this is how you should be and how you should live. You just live, and people are like, oh my gosh, how are you? Why are you so happy and joyful and laughing and so full of love? And you're like, well, here, let me tell you. And you don't have any expectations around what you're. So I love that. So this is from your shadow, from the unconscious. And then we're going to pull cards here from the Naked Heart Tarot and just see what the creator and your posse of beautiful support on the other side wants you to know about this equinox and about this balancing of this situation here. Okay. What else? Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Right to the point. Yeah. So you have the Tower. Don't be scared of this, because this basically has the moral of the story of this card is that anything that is removed from your life happens on purpose for a purpose. Because the story starts with the Wheel of Fortune card, really. At least that's what Spirit has told me in my understanding of this card. Because the Wheel of Fortune is like, before you came down here, your soul chose like when it was going to arrive and when it's going to leave this game of life. It chose the avatar that's going to represent it, which is you, in this life, this human character, and all these fated events that it wants to experience in this life in order to understand itself more deeply. And so there's this transformation in the thought and belief. Instead of having like this is happening to me, we go into the, oh wow, this is happening for me. Everything is for my highest experience. And, within each of those fated events, there's this awareness that comes that we have the power of choice. We have our free will. No matter what happens in our life, what fated event comes our way, we are the ones that get to choose the story that we apply to it, where we're investing our energy in it, right? We also get to choose what emotion we are going to feel during it. And I know sometimes it doesn't feel like we're choosing, because it's such a reaction. It's such a habit of ours that when this happens, this is how we feel. When this happens, this is what it means. Because we were told and conditioned on that before, our small t truth of whatever it might be. It was given to us, and then it was reinforced. So when it happens, it just happens like this. It happens very quick, because it's now our reaction, because we believe it so deeply. But when we question that and we understand that and we change the energy that we're focusing on, we realize we can take a deep breath and pause and choose a different story we want to apply to the situation, choose a different emotion we want to feel instead. And then the tower comes in because it shows us that, the tower basically is one of these fated events that's been going on in our life. And it can be a relationship of some kind, whether it's romantic, family, friend, or whatever, or a situation like a job or education, or something that's been in our life, like a home, a car, some sort of possession, our bank accounts, or even our bodies. And so something has been happening in our life up to this point for our experiences. Again, life is happening for us, not to us. But then this thing needs to be removed out of our lives so that we could experience these other fated events. It's basically this thing would be influencing the other fated events, so it needs to be removed for us. And so again, I said for us, not it's being removed to punish us or that it's something happening to us. And the great thing is that, like you talked about, if you have raised your vibration and you're listening to the spirit world, you'll hear the countdown, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, before this, shock treatment, electric lightning bolt shock treatment that happens with the removal of that tower. And we can choose to leap out of the tower instead of getting blasted out of the tower. Sometimes you'll see the tower card. There actually is someone being shown leaping out and someone getting blasted out. And so that represents our ability to choose to step out of something earlier if we feel like we've learned everything from it. But don't feel bad if you don't, because the majority of us want that electric shock treatment. We want everything right up to that drop dead moment where that thing has to be removed for us to move on. But this is this message about just know that things that get removed out of your life are happening for you and not happening to you. And then you have the 4 of Pentacles. Oops, do it this way. There we go. Love the little squirrel. And Pentacles are about your outside world. It is also about your worth. So the 4s are a very solid, foundational number. Think of like a table with 4 big solid legs. It's a very strong table. And so this is about finding your stability and your worth and how you see yourself in living this human experience in the outside world. And this makes sense that as you choose to look at your life differently and with this understanding that life happens for you, you don't feel so lost and abandoned and feeling like you're, been ostracized and that you're so much smaller, like it says. When you really look around you and understand what you're grateful for and the blessings that you have, you start to really see how abundant you truly are. And you find it from within, right? And then you have the 4 of Cups, so that makes total sense here too. A panda. So you got the 4 of Cups, which is strong foundation about your emotions. And so both your worth and your emotional state have this strong foundation because of this understanding of the tower, focusing on what you're grateful for, singing songs or having music around you, filling your ears and your eyes and your nose and your mouth and your hands with stuff that makes you connect to this positive side of the pot of gold at the other side of the rainbow. It's really seeing the worth, seeing who you are, seeing what your foundation is, really getting deeper and deeper and deeper, especially with connecting to the higher realms, connecting to that higher point of view is what changes you from seeing the world in this loneliness feeling, and you see the blessings and you see the abundance that is in your life. We're also going to pull at least one card here from these Whispering Woods, because you are the seedling that grows into a fruit tree, and to see what the final message that the Creator has. Whoop, there we go. Yep, there we go. For all you Aries that chose, yep, you get 4. Boom, boom, well, 4 makes sense. There we go. And your first one is patience. I know. It's an ugly word. No. Everything can be accomplished at nature's pace. And yeah, especially with the seedling to the fruitful tree, there is seasons for everything. Obviously, that's what we're talking about here with the equinox. We have spring and then summer and then fall and then winter for a reason. We have a season where things grow. The seedlings that were planted grow and, break out of the surface. Summer is they really, really super grow. Fall and autumn is when, you have that fruit bearing on the tree or the plant, whatever, and you're able to pick from it. Things start to fall off of it and drop off of it to the ground, which then seeps into the ground. And during winter, it, all that, if you're in an area where you have rain or snow, it pushes all that moisture and all that stuff that's decomposing into the ground to make a very fertile soil for the next spring. So there is a process and a season for everything. Winter, you experience this loneliness and this desolation, but then spring comes, and you have these experiences and this growth, right? Yeah, because you have adventure, dun dun dun. And that says, live wild and free. Yes, live the adventure. Realize that that's what this life is. Like we were talking about, that this whole experience we have on this planet is an adventure into the darker side, into the shadow side of our existence. We came here to have the contrast between the shadow and the light, so that in experiencing the shadow and all the emotions that go along with that, we get to understand more fully who we really are. Because when you're light all the time, you wouldn't realize it. Kind of like this card here. If this card was entirely dark, you wouldn't know that you were anything else. Or if it was all light, you wouldn't realize that you were all bright light. But because you're experiencing both, you have a contrast, and in experiencing the darkness, you more fully understand the light being that you really are. And then you have friends. And that says, the most unlikely friendships can form. Like variegated lichens on hard rock, they create a tight bond. And what's funny is, as soon as I read that, I thought of, again, The Wizard of Oz, with the cowardly lion and the rusty tin man and the brainless scarecrow and little Toto and Dorothy. It's like, what interesting friends they ended up being. You wouldn't have put them together before, but they made the perfect friendships. And so, again, when you let go of the have to, the should, the need to, and you allow people to be who they are, and you don't put all these restrictions and fight with them, trying to make them believe what you want them to believe, you don't have this loneliness that it was talking about. You do call in to your life the new friends for the new adventure that you're headed into. And then finally, change, which is what this was all about, was the change of your energy Falling leaves do not signify the end, but the beginning of a fruitful season. So that is so perfect for your seedling to the fruitful tree, which is all of you for this reading. So I love that. What a perfect way to end that. It is this change, feeling like you're in this winter when you're really going into this spring and into this fall feeling, and you have this abundance and this, like I said, this blessings. You can focus on the gratitude for what you do have and what the harvest that's coming in for you. So really love this for you, all you Aries that chose reading number 2. I do want to let you know, in addition to these readings, I also put out monthly zodiac readings for each of the zodiac signs, also weekly energy updates by each of the elements like fire signs, water signs, etc., new moon, full moon readings, and a variety of others. So if you don't want to miss out on any of those and be notified immediately when they become available, if you give this video a little thumbs up and click that like button, then that will help out. Also, if you click the subscribe button, that'll give you access to this notification bell. And when you go in there, you can select all, and then you'll be notified of when any new videos come out on this channel. Doing any of those things helps spread the love too, because when you like a video, share a video, comment on a video, or subscribe to a channel, it makes the YouTube algorithm all giddy and gleeful, and it wants to share those videos with other people as well. So if you feel inspired to do any of those things, of course, I greatly appreciate that. Also, these are general readings. If you want even more specific information for your life, I offer personal readings, and all that information is in the description box below as well. All right, all my Aries seedlings and fruitful trees, just know that as you're going throughout each and every season of your life, every moment and every second of every day, you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things. And of course, I love you too. Have an amazing little equinox season here over the next 3 months, but I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. And until then, you take care. All right, all my Aries, if you chose reading number 3, which is the baby to the adult, the calf or fawn to the stag, then this is the reading for you. And we're going to start off by pulling a card here from the Into the Lonely Woods. And this just represents one part of the balancing that is going on during these next 3 months during this equinox period for you. Just one more time here. There we go. All right, so for our Aries that chose number 3, what would you like them to know? What's the first? Nope, not all that. You're not that out of balance, I know that. All right, so that is your card there. And you have the beneath opens up to you. Yeah. So this is definitely some deep diving that's been going on into your emotional side, into your subconscious beliefs. It's card number 23. So put that over there. And we'll just briefly read from this book here. Yeah, it says, your heart did not close, even though you were no longer in the small and safe spaces of the surface world. Into the great depths you plunged, your soul a tattered, your heart in pieces, your hands closed and tight. And now, look at you. You found your way in the endless beneath. Your hands have a gentle touch, and you draw to you the shyest of creatures who know you are above all an ally, kin, and friend to their rare nature. You found a home amongst all the other misfits the world gave birth to, and you are creating your own destiny, which is clear, brighter, deeper, and more filled with joy and blessings than you could ever have imagined. Dive down into the hidden places, bright soul, and ready your heart for waves of joy. Yeah, so it's like you have been in this winter, and I know we have in the Northern Hemisphere. So, there is this wintry feel of like this hibernation of this barrenness that you might have had happen and gone through, where, like it says, you felt tattered, you felt beat up, and now you're emerging with this joy, like the spring with the little seedling. And also, for those of you, of course, in the Southern Hemisphere, there is also this feeling of, you've had this stuff that's been growing, you planted in spring and you grew throughout the summer, and now you're finally getting to the harvest. You're getting to this place of joy. So for some of you, and it doesn't matter what hemisphere you're on, some of you are beginning to emerge from that place that it's talking about, moving into this joy. Others, you are just starting on that journey of this depth. We're also, of course, going to see what's on the other side of this balancing that's going on during this period by pulling from this Earth Magic deck and see what else the Creator wants you to know about what's on the other side of this scale. All right, so for our Aries, that shows reading number 3. Okay, there we go. And you've got the stone people. That's not a commandment to stone people. This is about the stone people. And that talks about vigilance. So we'll read from the little book on this one too. So stone people, it says, stand in their ever-present vigil along the shores of an ocean whose tide has receded, leaving the remnants of water upon which we see them reflected. The sky, a soft and mobile background for these solid beings, suggests peace and calm. They exude power, only moved and shaped by other earth elements, such as the sea, the wind, and earth herself when she rumbles her belly. With practice, we can not only emulate these stone people, but also respect their ancientness and relative absoluteness of strength. They stand tall, bearing the ragged lines where these other earth elements have carved their impressions on these otherwise seemingly immobile fortresses. Long past when we've left the earth for the world of spirit, these ancient beings will remain witness to all that transpires before their bodies. So yeah, so this definitely is like this strong foundation. And I love that it's on the shores of this sea that we've dove into with the emotions. And so, yeah, you have one side is about diving in to the emotions, going into the depths of the things that we felt, the things that we've experienced, the pain, the suffering, all those emotions of any kind. And then the stone people, this is about finding your strength as well, from the other side of that. We, of course, are going to dig deeper, and we're going to pull cards here from the Black Tarot. And this represents messages from your shadow, actually from the depths, from the unconscious, the subconscious. There's all these programs and all this stuff that's running behind the scenes that's still impacting us. It's just not in our face. It's not in our consciousness. And so these are messages from our shadow, who is our friend, and they will help bring truth to us to help us understand how to balance and what is at the root of this imbalance. So what for our Aries that chose number 3? Okay. What else? Okay. And what else? Okay. And these right here. So we'll get those. Let me just move those out of the way. Move these over. It's got to look pretty, Okay. There we go. So we'll start with this one over here. And you've got the Knight of Swords. So swords is air energy. It's the thoughts, beliefs, it's mindsets, it's our attitudes, our expectations. And so this Knight is all about movement. It's all about also messages coming in. And so we definitely will be getting communication coming in. But this Knight is movement of our thoughts and our beliefs and our mindsets. And which is great is that you can try to stand tall and build, like these stony big things, but if it's on sand that's not solid, and it'll eventually fall over, and it's not as stable as it may seem. So diving deep and understanding our thoughts and our beliefs and why we experienced what we did and why we believed the things we believed when we were experiencing those, fearful things, those painful things, those suffrages, that's based on our beliefs, because we don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are, based on our beliefs and our thoughts. And so there is this movement that's going underneath your subconscious, that they're nudging you to have these things come into our life, to put it into our face, because the subconscious is not in our face, but our shadow will bring things to our face for us to understand what it is that's making us feel limited and small and feeling all that stuff. Let's see what else they want us to know here. Maybe. There we go. Yep, and you have the Two of Wands. Wands is our drive, our ambition, our aha, inspiration, our passion. Can also be our spiritual energy and the energy that we have. And the Two of Wands basically shows us the two places that we have energy come from. One is from our shadow, our human experience, our supposed to be's and shoulds and need to be's, those expectations that I was talking about before. The Knight of Swords, he actually has the Ace of Swords that he wields, and that does two things. One, it does allow you to connect to those higher truths, the capital T truths, which is the other side of this energy, the other side of the Two of Wands. One is of the small t truths of the human world, the other is the capital T truths of the upper world, those truths that are eternal and they're not temporary and unstable, like we're talking about. Like the Bible mentions, building your palace or your home on shifting sands. That's small t truths. It's unstable. It's constantly changing. It's constantly not solid. And so that's what makes it fall over, what makes us feel disappointed, right? But the capital T truths are those things that are very solid. They don't even need defending. They just are true. And the other thing that the Ace of Swords does is it gives you the power, not only to connect to the capital T truths of the higher realm, but it helps you cut away the small t truths of those ego side, of our fear side, of our shadow that no longer serve us. They have served us because they were giving us these experiences of feeling those emotions of fear and all that contrast that allows our higher self to understand who it more fully is by experiencing what it is not. So this Two of Wands is this showing you two sides of who you are. In fact, they're prompting me to mention they have me doing this new video series this year called You Times Two, which is about understanding the two of us that are living this human experience, our human side and our higher spiritual actor behind that human character. And I'll have it linked here at the end of the video somewhere if you want to check out that playlist. They're usually like 10 to 20 minute videos, one per week, just helping us on that journey of understanding who we really are. And then we move into the King of Swords. Yeah, so not only do you have the Knight of Swords, you have the King of Swords. And so definitely there is this, where this is the movement of thoughts and beliefs, this is the authority that you are wanting to take. Your unconscious is prompting you to take ownership and question your thoughts and your beliefs about your life. So it is definitely a lot of mental stuff going on here. Yeah. Because you have the Four of Swords too, which the Four of Swords, usually has like 3 swords on the wall and then someone sleeping on one of the other swords, which is about peace of mind. And so there is this peace of mind in your unconscious that is being triggered. It's like, I am tired of feeling this way and maintaining these beliefs that I don't believe, all these small t truths. And so that it's usually sleeping on that Ace of Swords. And the 3 of Swords, I call the expectations card. It usually has like a big heart on it with 3 swords stuck in it, which represents that disappointment, these emotions and everything that we felt because of everything that we were taught to expect from the outside world. And it, of course, did its job in not meeting up to those things to point us back to ourselves, which is what that Ace of Swords does. It allows us to see the truths and then cut away those thoughts and those beliefs. So definitely there's this mental push and nudging that's going on in your life during these 3 months. We're also going to pull cards here from the Naked Heart Tarot, and these are going to be where this is from your shadow and from your, subconscious. This is going to be from the heavenly realm. This is from the Creator, from your support team on the other side, so your angels and spirit guides, your loved ones on the other side, your ancestors, all those other beings of unconditional love and light. Just one more time here. All right, so for our Aries that chose reading number 3. Okay, and those 2. Okay. Any others? Oh my gosh, okay. Okay. So we will start with these 3 here. And I was just, as I was shuffling, I was being shown too that this is kind of like this baby is in the womb, it's in the water, it's in this, in the watery sac of that fluid that we are birthed in and grow in. And that's the growing that is happening here, because 23, 3 plus 2 is 5, which is this change. It's the number of change and of transformation of beliefs as well. And then this is the solid, structure that is built over time, right? Because it takes a long time for rocks to become the solidness, right? So I kind of got that message as we were doing that too, which makes sense because this is all that. Well, here you have the Justice card, which here is the Ace of Swords we've been talking endlessly about here. It's making itself known. It is all about this balancing that is going on here between the small t truths and the capital T truths. So that is just affirmation that this whole process is happening on purpose, for a purpose, and in relation to the 2s and the U times 2. This is card number 11, 1 and 1. You add them together, it's 2. So this is this understanding of the 2 sides of you as well. Yeah, because here you have the Heart of Wands, which would be the Queen of Wands. And the Queen brings 2 things in. First, the Queen of Wands is very able to really pinpoint her energy into whatever direction. So when she puts her mind to something, she can make it happen. So just know that when you're on this journey, when you're going to try to get to the root of things, you are definitely going to do it. I mean, this is your fire energy, right? You have the 2 of Wands and the Queen of Wands, the Heart of Wands. And the other thing that she brings in is connection to the higher realm, connection to your intuition, because all of the queens in the suit, in addition to carrying their suits energy, which is fire energy, they also all carry water energy, which is the intuition, which is the water, the emotions, connecting to the higher realm. The page and the knight and the king, which are the other 3 royalties of the suit, they all normally in the wands will have like a salamander or a lizard of some kind that protects them from risk. But the Queen of Wands, the Heart of Wands, would normally have a black cat on there, which represents her having that connection to the other side, not feeling like she needs the protection of risk because she doesn't feel like she's taken a risk. She's so connected to the upper realm, to her higher self, to all those beings of unconditional love and light, that she's being guided from the eye in the sky. They're saying, take a right. She goes, I'm taking a right. People are like, oh, aren't you afraid to take a right? And she's like, no, they're telling me to take a right. And then the message is coming through loud and clear. So it is very much about that connection. Yeah. And then you have the Spirit of Swords, which is the King of Swords in that deck. And there's the black cat. But so you definitely have this cohesiveness because you have the King of Swords twice there. And then you have the Ace of Swords. So definitely they are reiterating that you have the power to cut away those thoughts and those beliefs that no longer serve you. I mean, we talked about the Ace of Swords here, 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 and yeah, the Ace of Swords again here, and the Ace of Swords here. So you definitely have this strong ability to connect to getting to the capital T truths and understanding the small t truths that are no longer serving you, and you're ready to move beyond those. Yeah, because here you have the Four of Pentacles. Pentacles is your outside world, and the fours are very solid numbers. Think of it like a table with four strong legs. It's a very solid foundation. And the Pentacles is about your outside world and how you see your worth and how you're defining yourself. So I really like that coming up here for you, because this card, this depth, this diving that you're doing in to yourself really has to do with how you feel about yourself. But as you connect to those capital T truths, one being that, you know, with that understanding, the two of you, that you're so much more than this little human character you're playing. You're this powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being made of unconditional love, who is the actor behind the character. And so this truth, as you connect to that, you really get this strong foundation from within about who you really are. And then you have the Universe, which this would be the World card in the Standard Tarot. This is ending of major cycle and major new beginnings. So that makes total sense with your majorly questioning your thoughts and your beliefs over these next 3 months. And it's like when you move from the womb, this place, and move out into the world and are born, you know, like this is the World card. When you're born, it's a totally different perspective than how you were thinking it was going to be. You had this way of being, it was comfortable, blah, 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 blah. You felt what you felt, and you just accepted anything that happened to you. But now you're in this different place in your life where you get to choose what you believe. That Ace of Swords allows you to cut away thoughts and beliefs that you no longer want to believe. And it brings you awareness into those higher realms as well. And then lastly, we're going to pull at least one card here from this Aboriginal Dreaming Totems deck and just see what your final messages from the Creator are. So for our Aries, that shows reading number 3. Okay. What else? Okay. And any others? And last pass. Okay, that one. So the first one that made itself known says discretion. So serious. It says friendships are fantastic when there is equality in the relationship. Maybe it's time to undertake a quick audit of your friendships to ensure they are reciprocal. So you are doing this deep dive. And what's wonderful is that the energy around this is understanding how you feel about your friendships. Because one of the things when you're doing this deep dive, you realize that everyone is a mirror for you, and that when you're looking at those friendships. They are your teachers. They are your mirror that are showing you how you feel about yourself until you feel it. An example of that is like, I know like when I was younger and I would have friends that I would call and say, hey, let's go do something. No, I don't have to. Let's go do something. And they finally told me, I'll tell you what, stop calling me. I will call you when I want to do something. And I was like, oh, my little feelings were hurt, you know. But I later realized, like, oh, wow, you know, they're too busy for me was this message that I was too busy for me. I was looking for my wholeness and completeness, right? My worth outside of myself instead of looking in here and becoming my best friend instead, right? And so there are this discernment that comes, this understanding that comes with the capital T truths and the small t truths, right? And then you've got calm. And that says breathe. Heal your tired body and allow your spirit to find peace. Without harmony, your healing journey will take much longer. Yeah, so this peace of mind with this Four of Swords is definitely being reiterated here and asked for. It's like, yes, this, take a deep breath, come out of the natural way of seeing things the way you used to see them. You know, that's what this clarification of all these thoughts and beliefs are. And be able to take a deep breath, come back to this place of security, and it is going to be life-changing for you. It's going to be a wonderful equinox. Yep, there you go. Bravery, vigilant. It's time to reel in your warrior spirit. Not all conflict has to be a fight. The wise warrior will choose their battles carefully, weighing up risk on the road to achievement. We can talk about risk with your Queen of Wands, your Heart of Wands. You have this inner bravery, choosing your battles, understanding what it is you truly want to fight for, which is what this is all about, with understanding your thoughts and your beliefs, knowing that everything you're seeing in the outside world is pointing you back to inside you. And I know at first it's like, what? Oh no, you mean I'm responsible for my emotions and my beliefs and my choices? Blah. But when you get over that, which you eventually do, because at first we're scared, oh my God, that means I'm a failure. And it's like, no, relax. You know, you get to choose what anything means to you. You get to choose what emotion you feel with any situation. You have this very powerful empowerment that happens because you're like, it doesn't matter what happens going forward in the future. I get to choose what it means. I get to choose how I feel. And it does bring in this very solid foundation for you. So I am loving this for you, all you Aries of the baby to adult, this calf or fawn to this powerful stag. And just know that these 3 months are going to be a time of a great amount of reflection into your mentalness. But you have that Ace of Swords. You have this powerfulness to change that little ugly duckling into a beautiful swan. The little duckling that changes its, whole understanding. It thought it was a misfit and didn't fit in, right? But it's because its whole perception of who it was supposed to be was different. It wasn't what everyone thought it was. It was something completely different, and that's your whole journey. So I love that. Do want to let you know, in addition to these readings, I also do monthly readings for each zodiac sign, weekly energy updates for each of the elements, like fire signs, water signs, do new moon and full moon readings, and a variety of others. So if you don't want to miss out on any of those and get notified immediately when they become available, if you give this video a little thumbs up and click this like button, also click on the subscribe button. That'll give you access to this notification bell. And when you go in there, if you select all, then you'll be getting notified of any new videos that come out on this channel. Also, doing things like that helps spread the love, because when you like a video, you share a video, you comment on a video, or you subscribe to a channel, it makes the YouTube algorithm so happy it wants to share the videos with other people as well. So if you want to do any of those things, if you're inspired to do any of those things, I would greatly appreciate that, of course. Also, these are general readings. If you want a reading that's even more specific to your life, then I do offer personal readings, and all that information is in the description box below as well. Right, all my Aries of the fun to the stag, I want to let you know that each and every second of every day of your life, that you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things. And of course, I love you too. Have an amazing equinox, but I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. And until then, you take care.